Raven, and I'm very glad you're joining us again today. Today we're going to have another very interesting show. We are going to be speaking about the mathematics of sorrow, which is another way of saying the physics of emotion. And we're going to be speaking with the author of a book by the same name, The Mathematics of Sorrow, Gary K. Smith. Gary, interestingly, has a background in spirituality and has been what I call a spiritual researcher for literally decades across the world. All of this has given Gary a very great wealth of experience and knowledge in the work that he's been doing, and has come to be discussed in this book, The Cosmic Christ, his first book, and is also in the subject of today's show, The Mathematics of Sorrow. So, Gary, I'm so glad to have you on today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, how is it, first of all, that you came to even think of this subject of sorrow so deeply? Is there something like in your life that brought that up and you wanted to just examine it from every point of view possible, or what?
I think I'm essentially a melancholy character, and my movement to spirituality wasn't so much that I was suffering or I was neurotic, but I felt sadness in a lot of people. And I was just very curious about why people were sad. And then I ended up spending many years with some superb spiritual teachers, and then over time I got involved in healing, and I began to learn little bits and pieces from different people, and then like a new system arose. And of course, there's a mathematics to fear, there's a mathematics to anger, to
all
rage,
emotion.
to all emotion.
Actually, to everything.
There's a mathematics.
In reality,
there's
got to be
everything.
Mathematics. Another way of putting it is a physics.
Yeah.
That there's an understanding of the physical movement or the electrical movement in space of frequency of energy.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Completely.
So when you look at sorrow, I mean, I think just on sorrow in general, en général, we would say, this planet has been called the planet of sorrows from some metaphysical teachings. And it's almost like we long for connection to our source, or to our creator, or to our highest self, or something of the sort, as with the supposition that we're not living there moment to moment now. And there are exceptions to that, but in general.
Right.
So there's a sadness of not being connected to one's deepest, highest self, right?
That's true. Absolutely.
So I'm wondering if that could be said to account for that sort of generic malaise that you're referring to.
I mean, that's fundamentally what's behind everything, but very few people are actually simply dealing with that.
Right. But subsets.
That's advanced sorrow.
Yes, right. Okay.
Sorrow 101 is different. Most people are hung up with personal sorrow or familial sorrow.
Loss, grief.
Or they're just sad because they're neurotic and they're sad for themselves.
Yeah.
And they can't engage life and they're just sad. No, perhaps way, way behind that is that core existential sorrow. But for most people, that's not a practical thing yet. Most people are dealing with just sort of basic sorrow. And one of the things, I spent years doing healing work, and I began to see that it's really about balancing. And balance is about mathematics.